Welcome back. In the previous video, we have seen the work of a setter-based dependency injection. In this video, we are going to process example only with some new changes. What we will do, you have already seen the output of the coaching details and inside coaching student details. We have seen what are the implementations and how we have done. Just followed this diagram only. Now we will take one small implementation here. Here you can see that I have used new operator to create an object and saved inside this student details. Instead of that, I will try to create an object and connect with that student details reference implicitly. How we are going to do that? Let's see. I am going to do that with an annotation, and name of that annotation is @Autowired. Now you can see that in both the class name, student details and coaching institute, I have marked it as Autowired. Let's understand the job of a @Autowired annotation first. After that, we will see the implementation. For example, an IOC container is there. Okay, IOC container will create the beans, store the beans, and instantiate everything. We already know that. Okay, now whenever a class, for example, let's say coaching institute, we will mark it as Autowired. Then what does this @Autowired annotation will do? It will try to inject this coaching institute type with a bean inside an IOC container. That what it will do, that whatever we did in the new student details with the help of a new operator, we created an object and started to connect with that student details reference. Exactly the same thing it will do at Autowired annotation, but it will do implicitly inside an IOC container. Now what I have done, I have marked this annotation as @Autowired. Now after that, after marking that annotation, when I will start the application, that what Autowired annotation will do, it will in the IOC container, it will find the bean of this coaching institute type so that they can connect each other, and it will help us to make the program loosely coupled. Now let's learn. We understood how @Autowired annotation works and why it is going to implement. It is implement to reduce the repetition of a. It is implement to reduce the work of a heavy coupling. What we have seen with an example of new student details. It will do in the IOC container only. Now I have marked this at coaching institute and student details with @Autowired. Now what I will do, I will execute the code. Let's save this one first, and now after that I will execute setter dependency injection application. Here it is showing unsatisfied dependency error creating bean with name app config. Okay, now here with the help of @Autowired annotation, coaching institute type @Autowired is finding the bean of the coaching institute so that it will connect the object dependency. Now what I have to do, now I have to create the bean of the coaching institute and the student details inside in IOC container so that it will connect with the help of @Autowired. So to create a bean of coaching institute and student details, I have to use another annotation, and name of that annotation is component. The job of @component is to create a bean of inside IOC container. For example, let's say I have marked student details and I have marked here add component. Okay, let's import. Again, same thing I am going to do inside coaching institute. Okay, now both the annotation is marked with @component, and here inside app config also I am marked with @Autowired. So Now with the help of a add component annotation, here bean of that coaching institute exists. Coaching institute exists. Now inside an IOC container, both will inject each other implicitly. Okay, now let execute the code again. Redependency. Okay, before executing the code, we will make some new changes. For example, in spring application.run, let's go inside spring application, and we have found out inside that spring application using configurable application context. So what we will do, instead of using application context, we will use configurable application context here. So let's write a configurable application context equal to, and let's remove this one. Okay, and here I'm going to give the reference of the configurable application. Let's say context I will give. Now let's execute the code and see what is the output. It is coming correct output or not. Okay, it's not coming a correct output. Again here it is showing error creating bean with name app config. Okay, let's go to the app config and find out what is our issue. Let's go to the app config here. Inside app config, I think everything is fine only, but some issue is coming. Some is coming. Okay, I think maybe because names of this coaching institute and this coaching institute is also same. Here I've changed student info method name. Okay, so method name and reference name are same, and it is connecting implicitly. So maybe it is creating a conflict, and that's why bean is not able to create. So what I will do, I will change the method name here. Here I've changed method name student details to student info. If you have watched my previous video, there I have kept method name as student details. So I changed this one. Let's change this one also. Coaching institute, I will change it here. Coaching institute. Let's just try. Maybe this will create a conflict. Now let's execute the code again. Now it's working perfectly fine. Okay, so I think this method name only is creating a conflict with the reference name of this coaching institute. Okay, we got it. So the code executed, and it is providing the perfect output the way we wanted. Previously we did the hard coded with the help of a new student details. Now we are connecting with the bean implicitly with the help of a at Autowired annotation. Now there is one important point you need to notice, that whenever you are mentioning any annotation with at component, at that time you have to tell the configuration that wherever at component annotation is there, or in that hierarchy at component is there, then create a bean of that. Means find out wherever at component is there, and if they will find out the at component annotation is marked in that class, then automatically they will create an IOC. Okay, so to tell that spring or IOC container to find out wherever at component there, for that one annotation is there, and annotation name is at component scan. Okay, and here I am right now com.org.rest, and if you will see the application, all the file app config, coaching institute, Saturday dependency injection, student details are inside component scan only, and student details and coaching institute where I mentioned at component, they are also inside this com.org.rest only. Now if I will write the code here, com.org.rest, this will find out this at component scan annotation, will find it out, and it will execute the code. It will find it out wherever at component is there, and when they will find out their at component existed, so in the IOC they will create a bean of that. But you have noticed that before using at component scan, this code works perfectly fine. It didn't throw an error. That's because if I will go to our main application, or you can say that configurable application context where an IOC container is there, here before the class started dependency injection application, here I mentioned one annotation is mentioned of Spring Boot at Spring Boot application. Let's go inside this annotation, And here inside that annotation we have find out that at component scan was inhibited inside. So we don't have to mention again in the configuration in the if it's in the same package, because by default Spring Boot already provided at component scan. That's why it is working fine. Okay, and there is one more annotation we can see here is Spring Boot configuration and at enable auto configuration. So that means this application also means this class file set a dependency injection application also can work as a configuration file. Let's check it out. What I will do, I will remove or I will take all the code of app config. Let's control X and I will cut it out and I will paste it here. Control S. And let's see what will be the output. Here it is, code is working perfectly fine, and here coaching info is there. Let's mention coaching info. Here it is there. Now it is working exactly fine the way we want. Now, so that means this main set a dependency injection application class also it will work as a add configuration, because inside add Spring Boot application here it is mentioned Spring Boot configuration and at enable auto configuration annotation is there. Control X now, but this is the wrong practice of the code, since this is not the way we can work as an add configuration. Now let's paste it back again here so that I won't get confused, or we won't get confused. Here creating with Spring application context, Spring application star. Okay, it is showing something is wrong, maybe because I have mentioned here coaching institute and here I have changed the name of the method. So what I will do, I will again, let's go back to the app config. I will copy the name coaching info and I will paste it here. I think that is the problem, maybe ID issue. Let's run the code and see. That is the issue. Okay, it is working fine. Let's stop the code and restart it again. Okay, yeah, that's ID. I think ID is because of that wrong ID, it is creating some sort of an exception. Okay, I'm just throwing an exception because of it. So this is the end of this video. In this video we have learned about the most important annotation, that is at Autowired. We will see in the later videos that Autowired annotation will work our job very much easier. It will help us to achieve loose coupling, and this is the most important annotation which will help us to build large application very loosely coupled. And also we have seen at component scan annotation, and we have seen the job of a Spring, that what are that annotation that Spring Boot application carries. You can see that multiple annotations is there, and by default it is giving at component scan and many other things we understood. There is one more important point that you need to remember, that at Autowired annotation won't work with primitive data types. So this is the end of this video, and I will provide all the practice code in the GitHub, and GitHub link I will give in the description section. Please like and subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to get regularly updates, and stay tuned for the next upcoming video. Thank you.